Hi everybody, welcome again to another program of Yeshiva Classroom. And by popular demand, we have our last co-host together with us today.
Hi everyone, good to see you all.
And basically, I want to get to let the people to know that how we met each other. And basically, I think it's about 10, 12 years ago. And in West Orange, my son lives there, and you and your father davened at the upstairs minyan at the Alphabet Shul in West Orange, New Jersey. So we sat right in back of you, and basically just a feeling, the piety that during the services in general, he was so serious and pious in his davening. So we got to talking. How did you feel about the meeting?
So that was years ago. I was very young at the time.
Well, how old were you saying about?
I was probably 10, 11.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And then I think we took, like, there was a long hiatus where we didn't speak as often.
Okay.
And then maybe a few years ago, you left on my voicemail a Dvar Torah. I don't know if you remember this. You left a Dvar Torah on my voicemail box, and then we started calling each other, and then we started speaking.
Really?
And that's.
But we always saw each other at the shul on Shabbos.
No, 100%. We always saw each other at the shul, and then when I went to Israel and I came back. So that when I was in Israel, we took like a hiatus, right? Because I was in Israel and the whole thing.
Yeah. But
and
we always had that kesher somehow. Right. How can you describe it? Why is that so?
I don't know. I think we both have similar values, and
well, let me ask you.
I very much obviously respect and look up to you, and
No. So the point is, when I was a kid, I was a kid once. The kids today think that old people are always old. But when I was a kid, and in Delaware, I always got to give a plug for my hometown, Wilmington, Delaware, the first city in the first state. Why is it the first city in the first state? Why is it the first state? Delaware is the first state of the Union. The star up there that you see is Delaware, that's the first star there.
Really?
Because we rode we rode to Philadelphia. What was his name? I forget his name. But anyway, he rode to Philadelphia, the first one to sign the Constitution. So that made us the first state. Yeah, in Union. So the point is, that was so. As a kid, I was the only one who went to shul. As a kid, somehow I got attracted to this shul. It's Chesed Shalemet shul, 3rd and Shipley in Wilmington, and there was about 25 older people there, and me. And I loved it. I loved it because they sang such nice nigunim, and afterwards we went downstairs and we had chulent. No one could make a chulent like Mr. Davis could. And he was such a shamus. So he should rest in peace. When we mention a deceased person, words of Torah, deeds that he did, it's like his tongue is moving, and that is a way that we can remember and give merit to the deceased.
Wow.
So how did you find it? Did you find yourself anything different?
So I just back to the comment of was that the first time you had chalent in shul, like as a kid? I grew up mainly with my grandparents. But because my mother died when I was 2, I never knew my mother, so I was back and forth. But my real bubby was my mother, and they never made cholent. They never made cholent on Shabbos. First time I had it in the shul. Why? Why do you ask that? No, because I was just curious. Because you obviously you come from Delaware, probably a little bit of a different background than me growing up, and most people I feel like wouldn't have had cholent unless they had it at shul. Or at an event somewhere,
So, did you find yourself any way different than the other kids? Like, let's go out and play. Oh, I have to go daven a minyan with a minyan, or I just you felt that was a top burner. Did you ever feel that way at a certain age?
So the answer is yes and no.
I think as a kid, I don't think I felt any different than any other kid. And now I would say with my friends, I definitely don't feel different than my friends. Baruch Hashem, I think we all have, similar values, similar, I don't know how to translate she'ifas, like certain goals, aspirations in life. But there was times where, when I was in senior year and I wanted to get into it a little bit more, and I had some friends that were just kind of wanted to relax a little bit more and enjoy senior year or whatever it was.
Yeah.
I remember feeling a little bit different, not.
I hear you. Go over that point again. In other words, the boys wanted to play football. They wanted to play a little bit longer than you. I have to go and I have to daven or I have to look over my.
Yeah, but I remember it was coming.
How about Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah? What did you do as a kid?
So
most of the kids are running around.
So it happens to be we davened at an attic minyan, Rabbi Stone's minyan. At the time, it was, I think at a point it was in his house and then it was in an attic. It was a very serious minyan. I don't know if you know this.
It was what?
It was, I don't know if I ever told you this.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very serious minyan, maybe 15, 20 people.
Okay.
I would say max was at the minyan.
Where is this, in WO?
Yeah, this was in WO, and we would go to this minyan, and we davened at the A, B, J, and D at the alphabet shul during all Shabbosim, and then the Yom Noraim, we went to Rabbi Stone's minyan, which was a very serious minyan.
Where is that located?
That was, where the Chabad is?
Yeah.
So it was.
There's a bookstore across the street from that bookstore.
So it's a little bit past the bookstore. So not the store. You know where the Chabad shul is?
Yeah, across the street from the store.
So
or you're talking about the shul in the back of the bookstore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's an orthodontistry practice, and it's on top of the orthodontistry practice. You go up a fire escape.
What is it?
Well, there's an orthodontistry practice. I would say if you were to drive down Pleasant Valley Way, on the left side there's an orthodontistry practice owned actually by a Jew named Dr. Newman.
What do you say? Pre-packet? A pre-packet? You said that Orthodox pre-packet?
No, orthodontist practice.
Oh, orthodontist practice.
And on top there's a fire escape.
Oh, okay.
So we used to daven there, and it was a very serious minyan. I remember.
Well, what happened to these co-minion people? Do you have any contact with them? What happened to them? Where did they go?
From high school, or
no, from that minion that year.
So I was the only kid in that minion. Like I was the only one my age in that minion.
Okay.
And I remember sometimes it was a lot for me on Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. I used to go out to the fire escape outside, just like to get some fresh air, to breathe for a second, because it was like a long, serious davening. So at the time, I remember it was hard for me. There was times where it was hard for me, but there was times where I also enjoyed it very much, and that was my.
Yeah, I remember. Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur. We got them to the shul at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
6 o'clock in the morning, and we stayed the whole day.
Yeah.
there was like from like 2:30 to 3:30. There was a break, and the guy came around with snuff tobacco.
Really?
What's that? Snuff. And but nobody left the shul. That was it. But the kids, teenagers came, like 12, 1 o'clock they came, and they hanged out downstairs, and then nobody went to the shul, and I said, man, I said to myself, I said, I can't take such a long break.
Wow.
So, do you think that certain people have a makeup within them that is very spiritual and connected to Judaism in some way?
Yeah, I think everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses.
Right.
And a person just needs to tap into their strengths and understand their weaknesses in order to do their will in this world.
But how about spirituality?
No, even spiritually.
Yeah.
I'm saying like every person, every neshama that's sent down here has every soul that's sent down here has their individual mission to accomplish. It happens to be, I actually once read, I think it's, maybe it was a Kedushas Levi that I read, that, or that I had learned that Lamaisa, that the physical aspects of a person is a manifestation of their spiritual self.
Okay, so how does that manifest itself in your...
So just like a person, no two people look the same, so too no two neshamas are the same, and each person has their mission to accomplish in this world,
Look, the Jewish people are chosen people. And the bar mitzvah, you say a bracha. One of the brachas is, one of the blessings that you make is, Asher nasan lana Torah semes, you gave us the truth in the Torah. You choose us, Asher bochanu mikol amim, and you planted chaye olam no tapasochenu. You planted everlasting life in our seed. Everlasting life in our seed. So if it's everlasting life, how do you get to everlasting life? I mean, we were chosen, Bocha Born, we were chosen from all the people, and you loved us, and it says, to God is the heavens, and the heavens above, the earth and all that there is therein, but only in your forefathers did I delight to love them, to choose you over all the nations of the world as of this day.
Wow.
As of this day, meaning the time that we're doing it, the time that we are reading this, as of this day we are chosen, we are loved, and we are chosen as a special goal. What do you mean chosen? You have to do the goal. You have to do the directives to show the rest of the world by your actions what God's chosen people live like. Because, and therefore we give honor to God. Kavod Hashem. Does God need honor? Oh, what kind of honor? He doesn't need honor, that people should give honor to him. The word is Kavod Hashem. The honor to Hashem. The definition of honor is adornment and honor for accomplishing a great goal. And that goal was the creation of the world, the creation of heaven and earth. And we are chosen to show the world how this should be done, because if not, they're going to destroy each other. They will destroy each other. At this point, the North Koreans, the Russians, and the Chinese communists all have the power, and we can't get even our own people. You see, God made this covenant with Abraham, but he wanted an altruistic nature. He wanted everyone to have this goal, and he gave it to Adam, but he messed up. And right away, he was in contact with him. He had, God spoke to Adam, and his sons went off the derech, went off the way, and they committed a murder.
Wow.
Cain killed Abel, and it says over there in 4:10, Genesis 4:7, it says, God said to Cain, "Why are you downcast? Why are you so sad?" Because his offering was not accepted. So he said, "Why are you so sad?" This is in the Chumash. So God says, "You can improve. You can improve." And over there it says, "Sin crouches at the door. Its desire is to you, but you can overcome." That's sin crouches at the door, and its desire is to you, but you can overcome. As soon as the door opens, wham! The sin rushes in. And that we have to fight in order to show our people, and through that the whole world, how we should conduct our everyday lives between each other.
Wow. Wow, unbelievable. No, I totally hear that. I hear that comment very much.
Look, I don't know where to begin, but...
Can we start from the peanuts? Because
You like the peanut?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get the egg. Yeah, the peanut is, today we don't have
we have peanut butter. We don't. Very few people know about the.
Here, just move it.
Yeah, very few people know about the peanut. It grows underground. It grows underground, and it's got to be harvested. And there's dirt clings to the nut, and it's the shell is easily broken, and you have 2 nuts usually in each sack of the peanut plant, which is underground like the potato. So when you crack the shell, it's very easy to just do it with your fingers. You can crack it, and you have 2 nuts in there, and the nuts are covered with tissue. So the brown tissue, you can just rub it off, because the nut knew that an eater was going to eat it, and therefore he is going underground. He get his fingers dirty, and he take that dirt into his mouth. So he put a tissue around each nut.
Wow.
Put a tissue around each nut,
Yeah.
and that's how it is in the egg, the common egg, the chicken egg. The chicken.
A little, also the little plastic thing surrounding the hard-boiled egg. There's like always like a little, when you peel the egg.
Yeah. Okay. Oh no, I'm not talking about that. That's covering. But I'm talking about the egg. Is the egg? If it's fertilized, it's fertilized inside the mother, and she lays the egg, and the egg can sit there for several days. And the question is, how is the embryo fed? How is the embryo fed in a vacuum in an egg? And it survives by eating the yolk sac in that shell.
Really?
And when it's ready to mature and to break out, it cracks the shell. It cracks the shell and breaks out, you know? So that happens with all the eggs. Now, it doesn't, not like a human where you're attached to the umbilical cord and the child is there till it's ready to come out. No, the egg is out, separated from the mother.
Wow.
The egg from a chicken egg is separated from the mother, and when it's ready and it mature, it knows to break the shell. And the thickness of every egg it varies with the type of bird.
Wow.
And like the ostrich has a big egg and a big shell. But the point is, you know, 3 out of 4. What's this other thing? A leaf, So here I brought just this morning. I brought some leaves out, and here, you know, the inorganic matter in the atmosphere, the sunshine, the rain, and the soil, inorganic, no carbon involved in it, and it's able to, through body function metamorphosis and what else do you have? Different types of changes in the body, permutations that happen within the body, and it produces vegetation. Animals eat the vegetation, and we get strength from the vegetation and the animals, and through permeation, all these body changes can produce an offspring. And the leaf that we're talking about is filled with chlorophyll, which is important in photosynthesis. But this is dark green. The top of the leaf is where the chlorophyll is. But if you turn it around, it's already a pale light green. It's a pale light green. And so the chlorophyll the chlorophyll on the upper layer is able to produce starches and sugars. But how do the starches and sugar get there if there's no carbon and inorganic matter?
I don't know.
Yeah, because you like the question?
Yeah.
So the point is that there is the atmosphere contains 3 parts carbon per I think 1,000 parts of oxygen.
Wow.
So what happens is that the wind, God causes the wind to blow, and it's able to combine with the leaf and take in the carbon, which makes it an organic matter, which becomes sugar and starches.
Wow.
Well, without the carbon, there's no sugar and starches.
When you hear these things, it's like, it's so clear that Hashem's running the show. Like, it's like, it can't be. Even just like when you told me the first time about the peanut and how there's tissue paper in the peanut to protect the peanut.
Right.
Like, that's like a very, like, I would think a minute thing in creation. And it's so detailed and tailored
to get that tissue,
right,
and to get all the DNA that is able to tell the growth of when the certain actions should be undertaken by the plant.
Right.
It's the trillion of suns. Now, what happens in the science teacher? She's telling the students that it's premeditated plan by Mother Nature. A premeditated plan by Mother Nature. They leave out the word God, and if you can't, if you're not attuned to it, where do you want to substitute God?
Right.
So here, this is another leaf, and look at the veins. The veins that supply the nutrients to the leaf, which is able to grow, and at a certain time produce a flower or fruit or a starch potato under the ground, or a fruit over the ground, and that where does that come from? That's all from God, who made it, and the fruits are all green, camouflaged, so that the tree knows that you're going to eat the apple or the peach, and if you eat it green, you're going to do harm to yourself.
Wow.
You're going to do harm to yourself. So it doesn't color until it's ready to be eaten, because then the eater can see it, and color plays an important part.
Right, and we see it's not even just in fruits and vegetables, and I mean it's even childbirth itself. It's like a tremendous miracle. It's a seed that is developed into a full baby. You know, I don't know the whole scientific process of how it works, but that's clearly from Hashem. Like it's like no short of an ace.
Look, expectant mother could exist on potatoes and milk. That's all. But the body knows to change those through permutations and what have you to eggs and semen. Body can do that.
Wow.
And you say, well, what is it here? Look, we as Jewish people, I want to get into the study that day school. Did you see the Israeli parade?
I did not.
No, I'm sure you. But it was last Sunday. This is being recorded on June the 9th, Friday, right?
Right.
And last Sunday, I happened to be in front of a TV, and I saw this parade, and the enthusiasm where they described if you were a modern Orthodox yeshiva, and when it came to the camera, there was maybe 150, 200 boys jumping around and singing, and they came. And then there's a girls' school and a boys' school. It's mainly all described it as an Orthodox, modern, or whatever it means. But they had the enthusiasm and the energy. Now, how do we translate that when the Pew study says? Yeah, go ahead.
So it happens to be also actually the same day. Do you know what a D-Ray Torah is? Do you know what that is from Lakewood? A D-Ray Torah. It's called
No.
a D-Ray Torah.
I don't know what that is.
It was, they had in the Wells Fargo Center, where the Philadelphia 76ers play,
Yeah,
they had an event
yeah,
with the Rosh Yeshiva of BMG in Lakewood for their younger light, and there was Balabatim there was, businessmen there, and there was people in full-time learning, and so on and so forth. And this was also this past week, and I'd seen one or two videos, and the passion was electric, singing Hamish songs, Nagunim, and people really just trying in a deeper way to connect.
I don't know if that's the it's important to sing vibrations and shouting and singing different beautiful songs, but I feel that the goal of every Jewish day school student and beyond is to love to learn Torah.
Right.
That's it. To love to learn Torah.
Right.
That'll stick with you.
Right.
That's the goal.
Right. 100%.
And you say, well, you bear me out or criticize this, but
Also, everything follows after that. When there's someone who has a tremendous avos Torah, a love for Torah, a love for learning, wanting to connect to Hashem, everything else will follow. That's what I really believe that.
okay. But the point is, I want you to comment on this, on the classes that come in, starting with the high school. There are different degrees of abilities and background, so that I don't know if the Rebbe, the teacher who knows everything, who studied it for hours to give over a class, can he give that over to students in 2-3 minutes, where the rabbi spent hours trying to prepare and to deliver it?
Right.
And what I propose is that the class should have groups, and they should have groups, self-taught groups, where the rabbi gives a few sentences, a few words of explanation. Everyone else goes into their group, and not say, well, we finished this Masechta, we'll keep on going. And maybe 2 or 3 people of the whole class may have a fair idea of it. Well, what are your comments on that?
So in my yeshiva, what we do,
Yeah.
and for me,
What are you talking about, high school or
no, currently, we do have what we have is something called Seder first, which
order?
right, which really is from, we learn Gemara with a chavrusa, with a pair, and so usually it's someone of a similar skill set, and you learn with him by yourselves until, let's just say, from 9:30 to 12 or 10 to 12.
You mean new material we're talking about?
Or prior material. It doesn't need to be.
But it's something that the rabbi is going to teach?
And then we prepare for about 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 45 minutes. And then we go to Shir, which is basically the rabbi giving over his lecture.
Okay, but 2 hours and 45 minutes, what are you doing at that time?
So for those 2 hours, 45 minutes, we're learning Gemara together, we're breaking it down together, we're trying to figure out...
And how many times do you come out with the wrong shot?
There are definitely times where we come out with the wrong shot, but when we then find the correct, proper answer, with the proper interpretation,
Right.
then it sticks with you because you built it all up from yourselves. You worked together for the last 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 45 minutes, and then the rabbi came in and gave over his...
Okay, I hear. That's a standard, a traditional way of learning.
Right.
Make a laning before you go to the shir, where the rabbi teaches, and then afterwards get a review. But the media says we have to you come learn a daf yomi a day, come learn a halacha a day.
Come on, how much time do people have? And I wonder, with that method, you know, you can't use a pony. You can't use a linear English translation. You can't use it, right? You can,
What do you mean, in the yeshiva?
yeah.
I mean, you could do whatever you want. I'm
Yeah.
saying I personally don't, because I'm trying to learn how to learn for myself. But I'm saying, of course, if someone needs, of course they could. I'm saying,
Yeah, I think that, you know, you just can't,
if
the average guy,
no, 100%. That
you
is.
gotta use a pony.
So if someone needs to use an art scroll or one of those things, you know, and they have less time and they're already working and all these different things, 100%. But I do agree with you that it should be coming from the person, because when it comes from them, that's where it sticks with you. That's where you remember it. You review it well. I find when I review things well.
So how come we only have like 3 out of 4, 2 out of 3, and a Pew study leave the fold? Leave the fold. I mean, they go away from Torah. They don't keep Shabbos, and maybe a few things, you know, don't put on the light on Shabbos, and slowly everything falls away, and that's what happens.
So right. So that's about. I can't tell you. I can only tell you from personal experience of, you know, when I grew up, and I had gone to a typical, you know, I would say modern Orthodox school, which did tremendous things for me, and I.
And what kind of a curriculum was there? The religious and the secular.
So I'll tell you. So we had, I think our first class or Gemara Shir at the time had started at 9:05. And we had that until, let's just say, about 10:15.
How many people attended?
You were graded on it, so everyone attended. You know, it was broken down by different tracks.
Yeah.
So maybe in my track was, let's just say, I don't know, 15, 20 people. And that was till about, you know, I would say about 10, 15 maybe.
This is in high school?
This was in high school.
Now what were these 15, the makeup of these guys?
All from the same background as me.
But I mean, were they serious, or, you know, they just go there to pass time to get the mark?
Right,
and,
so
you know, and get the report card?
It was really dependent on the track. So, you know, typically, you know, it could be that the honors track was more serious just because they were more disciplined, or because they wanted to get a higher grade, or, you know, they didn't want to do poorly. In terms of being connected, I'm not sure if they were more connected to what they were learning than the other guys. You know, if the intermediate track, you know, or the lower track, it was.
Oh, you mean the tracks were divided into the ability?
By skill level, correct.
To the ability of what your knowledge and grasp of
Right.
material is.
Correct. And
every how many tracks were there?
There was 3 at some points and 4 at other points when I was in high school.
And so did people feel shame because they were on a small?
I don't think so. I don't think people felt that way. I don't know. I honestly don't know. I do know that we had Judaic studies until about, I would say maybe it could be 12:30. I don't remember the exact time. Maybe 12. And then at some point, maybe 1 o'clock till, you know, about 5:30, we had secular studies. So in the mornings were Judaic studies, and the afternoons were secular studies. And I think maybe one of the issues that could have been, happens to be, I love the place that I went to. I thought they had phenomenal Rabbanim, and they did an incredible job. I really do. I did feel that way. I just feel like sometimes what we were lacking was like a certain connection of what we were learning, you know, towards like the overall picture, you know, and I definitely felt like that there were times that even me personally had felt like this was just like another subject, which is a very scary thing, because we know that Yiddishkeit's so much more than that, Judaism's so much more than that. It's a relationship, it's you know, it's a way to live, it's a guidebook, it's, you know what I mean, and I feel I'm not doing it justice by saying what I just said. You know, it's a different life, and I wish sometimes that was given over more.
You know, time restraints are things, and You got different groups, different tracks. It's difficult for the school, and I don't try to criticize unnecessarily, but this study by Pew, P-E-W, says that they're going away, and I'm saying that you got to look at the statistics. Which schools are going away? The graduates are going away. I mean, you have day schools run by the conservatives, or you have the parent body are not. They just want to get a touch of a little Torah. But what happens after the high school? There's something's got to be done. I don't know if it's ideology. I believe, Rabbi, I think everything should start off with Musar. In other words, like we spoke about the peanut and the egg. Those things are important. Then you go into the subject matter.
Right, 100%. I'll tell you what happens to be in my yeshiva currently. We start off every day with a Musar Seder.
What kind of thoughts did I give him?
So it depends what you can actually pick. What you wanna, you can go to like Mesilas Yesharim, Kabura, which would be like a more midos. I'm in Reb Tzadok, which is he's Reb Tzadok.
Those are hard, and I don't know if they get
right. So, but it depends.
It
happens to be the rabbi, the rav that gives the shiur is phenomenal, and he really breaks it down for you, and you learn it with him. Everyone has a sefer open, and it's.
Well, you got time to review that?
Yeah, so you have to set your own time to review it at night, and.
You're always with a cell phone. People are always calling you. What is it that you have?
So I don't know.
Well, have you ever get back to all the people?
I don't know. Sometimes I don't. I try. I definitely try.
But what do they want from you? What do they thought? Just in general,
I don't know. It happens to be Baruch Hashem. There are people that I enjoy speaking to. You're being one of them. Baruch Hashem.
No, I don't try to call you that often. That's for sure.
And
but I think that in addition, the parent body can't criticize, because most of them are on scholarship. And who can pay the tuition if you got 7, 8 children?
Right.
And I feel that one solution is that the student should email a thought back to the parent. I feel very strong about that.
Right.
And
I happen to think just one thing I see, and this is a beautiful thing in Klal Yisrael, in amongst the Jews, and you see so many people working so hard, mamish killing themselves, literally like.
For Parnassa.
Yeah, just so that they could send their kids to yeshiva, to Jewish day school, to stay connected to Hashem, to Yiddishkeit. These are all holy Jews that are, really killing themselves for that. And that's like a beautiful thing that we can't take for granted.
Look, before we get off the track, as I say, a child should email to his parent a thought, even if it's 2 words, even if it's, we have a Talmud time, Olam Haba is a good zach, learning Torah is a better zach, v'afavek yede yoch. What's that mean, v'afavek yede yoch?
I don't know.
Throw away every yoke. Let me move this back.
Yeah.
Throw away every yoke and concentrate on it. But look what happened to us. We went away from the. Let me just get this out here. We went away from the Torah. We went away from the Torah, and I'm talking about the leadership. The leadership went away. I said, God, why are you so stringent with us? I mean, it's in the Torah. Well, it can't happen in America. We have checks and balances. We have the Congress.
And the biggest crooks are the ones that are running the country. And you say, well, we're safe. We have the A-bomb. We have the biggest army. But look, you get COVID-19, or just 2 days ago, you got the smog from the wildfires. It killed you. You killed down like flies.
Wow.
So if Shem wants to look, it's our job. It's our job. Whose job? We were chosen to do the job to spread the teachings of the Torah. And Leviticus chapter 26, Tochachol. The 5 levels of punishment will afflict you if you go away. 5 levels of affliction. And you have the recent Holocaust, where 6 million Jews were murdered. Look, I want to show you some of the pictures here. This is look at the face of the people here, being rounded up in Germany, being rounded up to sent away without notice to a concentration camp, just like that. And then you know, here's a book that was taken by German tourists visiting the decrepit Jewish people, and they took pictures. And one of the pictures was, you know, there's nothing to eat. They're like ghettoized. They had nothing, and they took that. They took pictures of it, but they came into a shul. Even in the Warsaw ghetto, had nothing to eat, and they found a group. Look at the faces. Look at the faces. They kept the Torah. That wasn't necessary. Didn't have to, but they went out of the way. And then,
wow.
And then, what did they do? They have, you know, they experimented on them. They experimented on the Jews here. All these books of what they did here. The German doctors came, injected them with gasoline and all kind of evil things, and they checked. These are the German doctors. So who are these people? Where are the doctors? These are war crimes. These are war crimes. And here, when they came into the barracks, the little things that they had left over, they had to take them away. All the valuables that they had, they were taken away from them, because for the Germans to get the last breath of materialism, they took away. And then so what did they do? They revolted in the Warsaw ghetto. Here they revolted, and after they held out for weeks, they rounded up the survivors. Here are the survivors of the Warsaw ghetto. Here they're herded into trains direct to Auschwitz, where they were gassed and burnt into ashes. Here are your brothers and sisters. We said, well, what can we do? We can't. They went into. What can we do now? They're all dead. They should be tried in absentia. They should be tried in absentia. All the Germans, they kept records. They know who did what and which group composed of the SS. They should put their names in the cities down. In absentia, anyone that belonged to the SS. In the Einsatz group of 4 and group of 5, they were killing squads. They went around to all the different Jewish communities, didn't do anything. You say, well, why did God let that happen? He let the evil people, when God hides His presence, they are for destruction, and that's what happened. The evil people came out. He let the evil people come out, and they were murdered, and they went directly to Olam Haba. I mean, why would the German army, they had so much manpower and everything. Why did they have to go after the Jews? They weren't a threat, but the
put in the railroad cars and to put and set them to annihilation? Well, for what? Why should they spend the manpower and divert all kind of equipment to that end? Why? Because the Jews failed to live up to their chore as a chosen people. Not to build buildings, but to build people. And yeah, they should. Look, there's so much to talk about. But one thing to put into practice: email. Get your student. Let them talk about the peanut. Let them talk about the egg. Let them talk about mail side. There should be teachers. The school should be open, and they should send email every week and to appreciate our kasha and a teretz. So that you know, every week we learn Talmud, and it's in English. You know, it's Talmud time. We learn English, and we talk about the first Mishnah in the Gemara. It's in English. You send me a self-addressed envelope, I'll send you a sheet of this paper. You can spend hours on this paper. This is one leaf of the book. Me'al Mosai, from when to when, Korin and Shema, do you learn and read the Shema Yisrael of the evening? From the time the Kohanim entered to eat their truma. Now, you want to say anything?
So, I actually saw one time, a cool shot. I think Ben Yoyada on that.
A what?
A Ben Yoyada. It's a sefer. And in there it says, Me'ei Masai Korin Neshama. They learn it as, when is Mashiach gonna come?
Yeah.
Ba'arbis, Dafka at nighttime. You know?
In the what?
Specifically at nighttime, Mashiach's gonna come. That's how he reads to the beginning, and then he expounds on that, which is a nice idea.
I'll give you a Devar Torah from this Bahalosh Chol, which we read this Shabbos, but basically it really starts out from before. And what I wanted to say was, well, it's not what I wanted to say, what I gleaned from people like Rabbi Sachs and Rabbi Victor Miller. You know, I would love to have a study hall, and if anybody comes and volunteers, you know, help wanted, contact me, and we'll have a study hall on Sunday from 10 to 4. We'll give you the book. We'll give you 3 or 4 books. If you get tired of one, go to the next. And but we don't have a place. Money is not a problem. But if you can call or contact us, we're at, let me see here. Okay, let me give you the Devar Torah over here. We're a recognized charity, and not that we need money, but we need a place, and we can advertise for people to come. Look, you can write and pick up your Torah for All, 349 Rugby, Cedarhurst, New York. Write it down. Send me a self-addressed envelope, or you want to call. You want to help. Anything you want to do. So the point is, you know, I get people stop me on the street. They recognize me. They tell me, "Great show." There is a percentage of people that like to hear what we say, but the name of the game is you have to do the work. You could do the same thing like yours truly. It's not like I'm so smart. It's not that, because I'm not. I'm not trying to be humble because I'm not smart. So what's you could do it too. And when you get to 120, you're gonna have your resume, and it'll put, you know, resume. What are you going to do? Moshe said in chapter 33, he said, "Erase me from your book if you don't forgive the people." Moshe Rabbeinu said, "Erase me from your book if you don't forgive the Jewish people." It was a test. It was a test for Moshe, and you know. So God sent him and said, "He said, I'm going to I'll tell the Jewish people that I'm going to save them. I'm going to impose them. I'm going to redeem them." And Moshe said, "They won't believe me." That's Lashon Hara.
Moshe said, they won't believe me. So he stuck his hand, and later he stuck his hand in his bosom. They got Saras.
Right.
For a seat, you like that?
Yeah.
So the point is, in this week's Seder, it continues from the previous, we got about 15 minutes, and it says over there that in the second year from going out of Egypt, on the first month, the Mishkan, the tabernacle, was dedicated. The tabernacle was dedicated. That was the first month, and the second year, the first month. So Numbers opens up with the second month on the second year, ready to go. I mean, Moshe went up to Shemayim, and God told him how it's 25:8. Make for me a tabernacle that I may dwell amongst you. So Moshe went up, and he got complete instructions of how the appurtenances should be, the furniture should be made, specifications. The Seder speaks about it at length. So then he came down and he said, okay, God said, make for me a tabernacle, and then he appointed B'Tzalel ben Uri and his assistant Oholiav ben Achisamach. Oholiav ben Achisamach. That some things stick to you, other things they don't stick. What can I tell you? That's how it is.
Wow.
So it's Oholiav ben Achisamach, and he was from the tribe of Dan. So they put everything together. God came down, and everything was up to par, and he inaugurated. And so let's go. And one day, they don't go to the trumpets were blown in this week's Seder 10 chapters later. What are they waiting for? You hear the question?
Yeah.
So I believe this is Rabbi Sachs. Rabbi Sachs, he's got a lot of information, but he describes it in succinct form. But he gets so involved with other tangential matters that it's hard for me to dig out some good things. But what he says in between the second month, he said, we learn in there the penalties for stealing. Number one. Number two, we learn out the penalties for infidelity. When the sota, we learn out from the sota that you can cause great damage. Sota, infidelity by a spouse. And number three, we learn nazir. Abuse of alcoholic substances can create a lot of discord among the tribes.
So what are the things again? Do you mind repeating it?
Yeah, one thing is it's in the Chumash right after another. It's in chapter 6. It says over there that restitution for stealing, the infidelity in the sota, and the third point is the nazar, alcoholic abuse. Then they're ready to go. Then the trumpets blow. And this week's Seder, 2 trumpets together. The camp is to move out. And that's how we learn it. You like that, Kasset?
Right here.
So there's so much this story, but you have to do it yourself.
Right.
You get a mark for it. People that were killed in the Holocaust, they go, no matter what their mark was, they get the Olam Haba because they were killed because they were Jews. Because they were Jews. How do you vote in the? Now who's in charge? Zelensky. It seems like a stalemate between Russia and Ukraine. And that Pale of Settlements. Are you able to look that up?
No.
Pale of Settlements is a strip of land from a strip of land here it is, a strip of land. Hold it. It's a strip of land between Ukraine and Russia, and the Russians. It goes from the Black Sea. It goes from the Black Sea all the way to the Baltic Sea. All the way to the Baltic Sea. And that was the end of the border of Russia. So Russia threw the Jews out there, and that's where they lived. And they hated the Jews, so they threw them out of Russia. They put them in, it's called the Pale of Settlements. And that's where they're fighting now. That's where they're fighting, at the Pale of Settlements. Ukrainians and Russians. You know, we're not allowed to take, we're not allowed, this is
Wow.
Russia, and this is Ukraine. This is the Black Sea, this is the Baltic Sea.
Wow.
They threw them right over here. Latvia and Lithuania and Estonia. So,
Unbelievable.
so it said, you know, we're not allowed to take revenge. That's one of the purpose. That's one of the in Leviticus 19:18. Do not take. It says, do not accept a false report. Do not extend your hand to the wicked. Listen to the grievant, and don't go after the majority who want to convict him wrongly. And it says over there, do not take revenge, and do not bear a grudge. But we ask God, and hold it. We ask God, and in the Torah, to take revenge for the evil people that we did for him on the day of the Psalm for the day of Thursday. The day of Thursday. Psalm for the day is Thursday. So that's what's happening now. That's what's happening now. Here, it's a Thursday. Here, read over here. Read in English here. This is a Psalm for Thursday. Read it out loud.
Today is the 5th day of the Sabbath on which
louder and slower.
On which the Levites would recite in the holy temple. For the conductor upon the Giddis by Asaph. What's the Giddis?
It's an instrument, but go continue.
Sing joyously to the God of our might. Call out to the God of Jacob. Raise a song and sound the drum, the sweet harp with the lyre. Blow the shofar at the moon's renewal, at the appointed time for our festive day.
Yeah.
Because it is a decree of Israel.
Let me see. I don't have.
I think it's later on underlined.
No, I think it's Wednesday. O God of vengeance, Hashem, O God of vengeance, appear, arise, O Judge of the earth, render recompense for the to the haughty. How long shall the wicked be? So I feel this is nakama. This is a revenge that the God. But these are children and grandchildren.
Right.
These are children. They weren't the ones that did the murdering. It was their forefathers. But just like our forefathers, those forefathers that were killed, they didn't have any children because they were killed. So these children of the murderers are being killed. I mean, that's my shot. I don't know what, but everything is for the Jewish people to go out and to learn yourself. You have to learn yourself. And the other thing I want is that the yeshivas got to have the students send an email to the parents every Friday and discuss whether it is, whether it's about the peanut, about the egg, about the leaf, or about a kasha me'amosa kara neshama b'yarvin. That's Torah. In 26:46 in Leviticus, it says Torahs. It's written plural. The Gemara and the Gemara and the Chumash are equal. And it says over there. It says over there in Numbers chapter 23:19. God is not a man. God is not the son of a man. God is not fickle. He doesn't change his mind. Fickle means doesn't, he doesn't change his mind. So, look, if you like this program, you can get it on the internet, under Google search, Yeshiva Classroom. Have a friend do 5 minutes of the program, if you like it. If not, give us a call. we're at 516-295-4233. And you say, you know, I like it, but I can't take the next step. You don't get full credit for that. You have to get. Okay. Anything else you wanna add, subtract, or multiply?
I want to say it was good seeing everyone. It was good schmoozing with you as always, listening to you, learning from you.
And you can meet us personally if we get a place set up, like, you know, on Sundays from 10 to 3. So if you have any way to help us by just being there, we appreciate it, and we just wish you a good Shabbos and all the best to Klal Yisrael.
Good Shabbos, everyone.